Trying to figure out how to keep your flow alive during the winter months? Here are 5 drills that work even when you're spinning inside. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, it's cold out where I am, and I imagine it is for a lot of y'all watching. So I want to share with you my favorite 5 poi drills to do inside when the weather outside is frightful. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecca, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterror Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these awesome companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friend of the channel, Pekka Pekkonen. Thank you so very much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. So, the vast majority of Earth's population is in the Northern Hemisphere, and right now the Northern Hemisphere is in the middle of winter. DC just had its first snow day in 4 years when we got dumped on by a whole 5 inches of snow, and yes, as a kid who grew up in Colorado, it does make me die a little bit inside when I say those words out loud. But it also means that a lot of us are stuck indoors when we want to flow, and that means we're spinning in some pretty cramped quarters. So how exactly can we keep our flow going through the winter and still manage to grow our skill set? Fam, I gotcha. So today I'm going to share with you 5 of my favorite drills that can be done inside of a really small space. Stuff that is going to help you such that when you are able to explore all that wonderful space outside when things finally warm up, that, well, you're going to be in a position where you have all of these awesome skills so under your belt that you're going to be able to wow all the people around you. Starting with drill number 1, timing and direction. So just to clarify, what I mean by timing and direction here is that you're just going to take your hands without the poi in them and work them through all of the different modes of timing and direction. We already know that there's essentially something like a circle of fifths that works with poi spinning such that you can go back and forth between 2 different combinations of timing and direction by looking for the transition points top and bottom as well as side to side. This actually carries with it the benefit that you can perform this exercise without engaging the poi at all. This is really helpful if you happen to be in a space where there's a lot of delicate things around and you want to be able to get some good ideas for poi transitions in your head without necessarily having to risk damaging anything around you. And as basic as this drill is, it's really important. I don't know that I've ever encountered something in poi spinning period where I didn't need to have some form of this information. Plus which, the more comfortable you get with being able to just get your hands moving in the different modes and switching between them, the easier it's going to be when you actually do engage the poi in this process. Sure, it may seem a little boring and basic by poi standards, but this is something you should really revisit frequently, not just because it's going to help with your muscle memory, but also because you'll be surprised by how many different types of tricks that this winds up being relevant for. And speaking of basic, an exercise I've been giving a lot of my students these past few months because it turns out to be oddly powerful is exercise number 2, pendulum-based transitions. Okay, so this one does actually have a backstory. I have a private lesson student who primarily works as a performer, which means that most of the time she's working with those types of programmable LED poi that come in those long tubes, which also means that they're a terrible fit for stalls, and so much of how we think about transitions with poi centers around stalls. And together we made a really fascinating discovery, namely that when you perform transitions with pendulums, they work just as well with traditional, say, sock or contact poi as they do with those LED poi. The transitions wind up looking seamless either way. So I developed an exercise for this student that turned out to be so powerful that I also then applied it to many of my other students, and lo and behold, it just turns out to be an incredible drill. The idea is really simple. Just use pendulums to go back and forth between together same and together opposites in wall plane, and yet you'd be surprised by how challenging this winds up being for a lot of poi spinners. Even those that think they're quite experienced may not have the kind of nuance of movement necessary already under their belt in order to get back and forth between these 2 places. So try this one out and see what you learn in the process. But in the meantime, speaking of stalls, drill number 3, the stall box. So by now it is probably no secret that I'm a big fan of conceptualizing stalls as essentially being those places where we get the poi to land in the corners of a box that sit around the circle that the poi head is going around as it spins. And personally, I think that this is one of the best ways to get down all the stalls. The idea here is that you just go side by side of the box, tracing your way all the way around it. Not only does this help you get down each and every one of the stalls and gives you a physical conception of what's supposed to be happening at each of those points, it also gives you a way to move around and drill all of them in a highly systematized fashion. And bonus points, you can then apply this very same idea to performing the stall box in all the different timing and direction modes to really get down those stalls no matter how you happen to be spinning your poi. Whether it be performing this in together same, together opposite, split time opposites, or split time same direction. Seriously, this is a really powerful drill, and I would highly encourage you all to explore it. But it does come with a little caveat, because all of those stalls are what I would refer to as in-spin stalls, and to every in-spin, there is drill number 4, anti-spin stalls. Alright, so this one's a little bit more challenging to visualize, but fundamentally it's exactly the same idea as the stall box. We're going back and forth between different positions where we do our stalls and doing so in a systematized fashion. In this case though, we're just picking each individual petal of the flower one by one and performing both of the stalls that occur there. And of course, just like we had for our original stall box, there is a version of this that involves performing this drill in each and every timing and direction mode. Again, we can do this in together same, as well as together opposite, and split time opposites, and split time same direction. Alright, so before I share with you my final pick for a great drill to do indoors in a small area, I do have a favor to ask. If you come this far, I'm hoping that it means that you're really into poi tricks, and if so, guess what? I make lots of videos about those. So, we can help us both out by having you subscribe to the channel. That way you know right when I drop a new video, and I have wonderful new eyeballs that I can give those videos to. So, please hit that subscribe button, please and thank you. And now for my final pick for 5 awesome drills that you can do indoors during the winter, we arrive at drill number 1, plane control in meteors. Yeah, so I just jumped way ahead on the skill difficulty level there, didn't I? So the idea behind this one is relatively simple to explain too. Whenever we perform one-handed butterflies, we're having to achieve some degree of separation between the planes of our 2 poi, even as they happen to be spinning in the same hand. In order to do this, we want a drill going back and forth between having those planes straight upright and having them more out on a horizontal level. And this becomes really important, not just for learning one-handed butterflies, but also everything from weaves to supermans and a whole bunch of other one-handed moves as well. It's also just a fun little way of showing just how bizarre poi can really be, going from spinning the poi in such a way they feel like they're in butterfly to when we flatten them down it feels more like they're spinning in split time same direction. It's a really fun demonstration of how strange poi planes get in 3 dimensions. So I highly recommend this one. Awesome, so those were my picks for 5 awesome poi drills that you can do indoors during the winter. Do you have some favorite drills that you do when the weather outside is frightful and you don't have a lot of room to work in? Leave me a comment and let me know what they are. This video would not be possible were it not for my awesome supporters on Patreon. In particular, I'd love to give a shout out to my Flow patrons who are listed on screen over here right now. If you enjoy these videos and you'd like to see more of them, there's an easy way that you can help make that happen, and that is you go over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and sign up. That way I get to keep on making videos and educating people like yourself all across the world, so everybody wins in that situation. Go check it out, please and thank you. And if you'd like more stall box goodness, I also recently uploaded a video on how you can use the stall box to add musicality to your spinning by drilling it with music. I'm going to go ahead and link to that video down in the description as well as on screen. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Take care now. Peace.